Ever wish you could cheat time? With Alaundo the Seer, you basically can. Tap him, exile a spell, and watch it cast itself later for free. Today we're diving into a deck that turns patience into power. Alaundo the Seer has tap, draw a card, then exile a card from your hand and put a number of time counters on it equal to its mana value. It gains when the last time counter is removed from this card. If it's exiled, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. If you cast a creature spell this way, it gains haste until end of turn. Then remove a time counter from each other card you own in exile. This deck uses Alaundo to set up a chain of powerful spells while staying flexible on the board. Big creatures keep pressure on your opponents, while untap effects let you repeatedly use Alaundo to exile and cast spells for free. Normally with these sections, I usually go through them one by one, but these cards basically do the same thing. They let us untap Alaundo and get more value out of our spells while keeping our big creatures ready on the battlefield. What would normally be one play each turn becomes a chain of plays, giving us more options and keeping the pressure on. This section is all about strengthening your board. These cards help us keep the pressure on by either creating creature tokens or letting us cascade into more creatures. The goal is to fill the battlefield so we have the options for attacking, blocking, and getting even more value out of Alaundo's ability. Apex Devastator is the ultimate cascade machine. When it enters, you cascade 4 times, potentially casting multiple spells for free and overwhelming your opponents with a barrage of creatures and spells. Gandalf Westward Voyager brings a unique twist. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, each opponent reveals the top card of their library. If any share a type with your spell, you copy it, and each opponent draws a card. This not only strengthens your board, but also keeps your opponents on their toes. Giant Ediphage is a token generating powerhouse. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you create a token that's a copy of it, so it can quickly generate an army of bugs that can work for you. Coma World Eater creates 4 3/3 creature tokens whenever it deals combat damage. This helps fill the board quickly and gives you more options for attacking or defending each turn. Nadir Kraken helps grow your board steadily while creating extra creature tokens, giving you more presence and options each turn. Worldspine Worm is important because it's a huge threat that can dominate the late game. And when it dies, it leaves behind multiple 5/5 tokens to keep the pressure on. This section is all about making your creatures even bigger and more threatening. Pump effects help your big creatures deal more damage, survive combat, and give you the edge in fights. Decimator of the Provinces is important because it turns your whole board into a massive trampling threat, letting you deal huge damage in a single swing. Endrace Forerunners is key for pushing through damage and making your team more threatening with Vigilance and Trample, giving you both offense and defense. Goreclaw Terror of Kalseisma is valuable because it makes your big creatures cheaper and stronger, letting you play more threats while boosting their power and trample when attacking. Kamal Fist of Krosa matters because it can pump all your creatures, making them bigger and more dangerous. Overrun is crucial because it gives all your creatures a massive boost and trample until end of turn, allowing you to push through blockers and deal significant damage. Overwhelming Stampede is important because it boosts all your creatures by the greatest power among them and grants trample, ensuring that even your smaller creatures can contribute to overwhelming your opponents. Quilled Great Worm matters because it grows your creatures each time they deal combat damage during your turn, turning your attacks into a way to make your creatures even more formidable. This section helps your creatures stay safe and be hard to block. Some give evasion like flying, others protected against removal, and a few even shield Alaundo so you can keep getting the value. Archetype of Endurance keeps your creatures safe from targeted spells and lets you deal with opponents' hexproof creatures. Archetype of Imagination. This one gives your creatures flying and it makes your opponents lose flying, making them harder to block and helping you get the damage through. Asceticism lets you pay to regenerate your creatures, which means that if one dies, you can bring it right back to the battlefield. On top of that, it also gives them hexproof, so opponents can't target them with spells or abilities, helping you keep your key pieces safe while you build your board. Dawnglade Regent gives all your permanents hexproof while you're the monarch, helping you hold your board and stay in control. Koma Cosmos Serpent creates a steady stream of creatures and keeps the pressure on with its sacrifice abilities. We get more value from choosing the first ability, essentially locking out potential powerful creatures. Star Whale soars above the battlefield and gives your other creatures board, making it harder for your opponents to target them. It keeps your board safer while still being a very serious threat. Stonehoof Chieftain is a massive and tough threat to deal with. Whenever another creature you control attacks, they get indestructible and trample until end of turn, which makes your whole team harder to stop. Swiftfoot Boots is perfect for Alaundo. It protects him from being targeted and lets you tap him right away, so you can start exiling and casting spells as soon as possible. Rapid Vigor is all about saving our creatures from destruction. You can regenerate all of them at once, which means even if they are destroyed, they can fight another day. Aeon Chronicler. This one is great for keeping your hand full. When it's exiled with its time counters, you draw a card each time a counter is removed. When it finally comes down onto the battlefield, you also get a big creature. Ancestral Vision lets you suspend it and eventually draws 3 cards for basically just 1 mana. Arcanus the Omnipotent is a creature that lets you tap to draw 3 cards. It's essentially a great card draw option, and if you need more cards, use an Untapper. Garruk's Uprising lets you draw a card whenever a creature you control enters the battlefield with power 4 or greater. It's a great way to keep your hand full while your big creatures keep hitting the board. Inspiring Refrain is great for a repeatable card draw. After you draw the cards, you exile it again with time counters, so you can keep getting more cards over time and stay ahead of your opponents. This section is all about keeping your board clear and dealing with threats before they become a problem. Beast Within is super flexible. It can destroy any problematic permanent and in exchange give your opponent a 3/3 beast. Worth the trade-off. Hullbreaker Horror can give you a lot of control. Every time you cast a spell, you can bounce either a spell on the stack or a permanent on the board. And since this deck casts a lot of spells, you can consistently keep triggering it to shut down opponents and keep the board clear. Kogla is a powerful removal option because when it enters the battlefield, it can destroy an artifact, enchantment, and potentially fight a creature your opponent controls, giving you overall great versatility. Reality Strobe is nice because it returns a permanent to its owner's hand, but then re-exiles itself with 3 time counters. That means you can use it again later. It's removal that comes back on repeat. When Terastodon enters, you can take out up to 3 non-creature permanents, like artifacts, enchantments, lands, that might be causing you problems. Sure, your opponents get 3/3 elephants for each destroyed permanents, but clearing out those threats are worth it. The Tarask is a powerful creature that comes in swinging with haste. When it attacks, it gives you the chance to fight one of your opponent's creatures, clearing the way for damage or taking out a big threat. We grouped these cards together because they are all about countering spells. Sometimes the best way to deal with a problem is to stop it before it even resolves, and that's exactly what these cards do. This section is all about getting Alaundo out faster and making sure we still have plenty of mana if he gets shut down. Ramp keeps the deck running smoothly, no matter what our opponents might throw at us. For lands, we're keeping it simple but effective for a Simic deck. We've got plenty of basics to keep things stable, some utility lands that give us extra value when we need it, and stack lands to help fix the mana colors and get lands out of the deck so we're less likely to draw them later. It's all just about keeping the deck running smoothly. Well, that's it for this deck tech. If you liked this video, like, comment, subscribe to join the Fairs community in all of Magic the Gathering. Until next time, keep driving your opponents nuts with 20-minute turns.